Very well. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Judge Bonnie Duncan. It is my honor and privilege to be judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. It is 1:02 p.m., 7/1/2020. As I said in my morning session this morning, I can't believe we were hunkering down St. Patrick's Day, and here we are on the eve of 4th of July, and we are still in the midst of this COVID pandemic. Crazy, crazy times. And any of right, Mr. Norris, crazy times.
Yes, I mean, and it's not going to be over. We're only now beginning to get the bad stuff. I mean,
I agree.
Bad for whoever gets it, but more of us are getting it. So
I agree, sir.
So, you know, I mean, what are we now? If we got all jury trials pushed back to September, it's going to be longer than that, Judge. I mean,
January 2021, I betcha.
Oh my God, you guys are going to be so backed up by then.
Oh God, it's going to be fair. It's going to be crazy. I know.
Well, we're doing our best to settle things, you know.
Everybody's doing their best to reinvent themselves and to get out.
Yes, ma'am.
And to proceed and move forward in these crazy times. And I appreciate all of you doing that, being here, learning Zoom. As you well know, the Texas Supreme Court has allowed us to hold these hearings via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there's anyone out there that objects to this process, these proceedings, its limitations, please let me know verbally right now.
Well, I think the Zoom process is good for things like this. I think it's good for guilty pleas and bond hearings. It's not going to work as far as we're concerned for jury trials and evidentiary hearings.
I'm going to do evidentiary hearings and I'm going to do jury trials, Mr. Norris. You just wait and see. I hope yours isn't the first one.
Well, I hope not too.
I know. So is there anybody there? Nobody there objects to the process. I want everybody to know that Ms. Anita Garza, my court reporter, is on and participating in this Zoom hearing, as well as Rebecca Gonzalez, my court coordinator, and of course my bailiff, Mr. Rick Salazar. Now, there will be absolutely no recordings of this proceeding. If indeed it's recorded, you could be held in contempt of court. I don't want any participant recording or anybody watching on YouTube Live. And as you well know, we are on YouTube Live to comply with the Texas Open Courts provision. Okay, now, the options bar is on the bottom. If anybody wants to chat with somebody else or wants to get in a breakout room, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to allow that. With that being said, is there anybody here that does not understand those instructions, does not agree to those instructions, or once again, does not agree to this process? Please verbally say so right now. Yes, Mr. Rivera.
On my screen, it says recording. Do you know how I turn that off, or it's supposed to say that?
It's supposed to be recording, sir. We're recording on YouTube Live. It's like I'm in an open courtroom and the public can come in, okay? They're open courts. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. At least you know how to read and you're paying attention. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, is there anybody here that doesn't want to agree to this process and objects to proceed? Let the record reflect that there are no objections at this time. The first one is going to be Mr. Arnoldo Bravo. That's public defender. Is that you, Mr. Vasquez?
That's me, Your Honor.
That's you, Mr. Castañon. At this time, court calls cause number 204469. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Felix Castañon for Mr. Bravo. Ready, Your Honor.
And I don't think Mr. Bravo is present at this hearing, is he?
No, Your Honor. I just texted with him and he was at work, so I told him I'd ask the court to wait.
Very good. Are you waiving his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. No problem. This is a settlement conference, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. The last recommendation I have here is 10 years deferred probation, $500 fine, 200 hours of community service, drug counseling, UABA, as well as a curfew.
Very well. What are you thinking, Mr. Castañon? That doesn't sound, anytime it's deferred, that's a good deal.
It is, Your Honor. Unfortunately, he's a legal permanent resident, so that deal would get him deported. I think where we were at was that we had filed a motion to suppress And we'd gone back and forth because it was, I believe this was campus police that had pulled him over. So there was an issue as to whether or not there was a video, and I think that it turned out there was no video. At that point, I guess we just go off of the testimony of the officers, and the court can decide.
Did this happen on campus of UTEP or community college?
I think it's one of the community colleges, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. So I guess you're not accepting the deferred, so we have to proceed with the MTS.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And as you well, is the MTS, at the MTS, is this deal off, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Becky, have we set this up for a motion to suppress yet? Ms. Becky?
Doesn't appear so, Your Honor.
No, Judge, I haven't said any of the motions to suppress yet because we were getting the rules for Zoom for the remote. here.
Okay, we're gonna get it done quickly.
Is-
Thank God Mr. Norris is not the attorney in this case, because I'm gonna move forward with this evidentiary hearing and MTS on Zoom. Right, Ms. Becky, we're gonna set those up as soon as we can.
Right, as soon as I get to all the dockets, Judge, I'll start setting those up.
Got it, thank you.
He's Arnaldo, right? He's not in jail.
He's not.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Becky. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna set up for an MTS. Mr. Castañon, anything else, sir?
That's it, Your Honor.
Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The next one is Mr. Wyatt. Mr. Irvin Luna Vega, 2017-2931. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Derek White on behalf of Mr. Vega, respectfully ready to proceed, Judge.
Very good. Okay. My God, look at this. I think you're gone. Mr. Wyatt, your face is gone. That's why I hate these virtual backgrounds.
You can't see me?
There you go. Your face disappears when you go a certain way and pick up your paperwork.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes. I see you good now. Are you supposed to be a bug on a leaf or what? What is that background?
I don't
What is
really
it?
know. Whatever visual, let me see if I can.
Rick, this beats Ivan's green cobija. Mr.
or
Salazar. Mr.
virtual
Salazar, this beats
icon.
Mr. Ivan's green cobija.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
that-
no, I like your green leaf better, Mr. Derek.
Wanted to make sure you can see me, Judge.
Good, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, are you going to waive Mr. Irvin Luna Vega's appearance today? Or is he participating?
Judge,
Oh,
no,
there
he's-
he is.
he's here, Judge.
No,
He's
there
here.
he is. Mr. Luna, can you talk to me and say good afternoon, Judge? How are you? So we can see you on the screen. Mr. Luna.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. How are you? Can you say in English, good afternoon?
I believe he's Spanish only.
Oh.
Mi cliente habla español solamente. Señora Wade.
Okay, you're going to be my interpreter. Mr. Wyatt, do you see and recognize Mr. Luna Vega as your client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Do you want to, I have to ask him in English because we're on the record. Mr. Luna Vega, do you understand a little bit of English?
Poco.
Okay, Mr. Rick, can you translate for him, please? Mr. Salazar?
Yes, Judge.
Ask him, Mr.
What?
Vega, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
I want to get here in a hurry.
Señor Vega, sí ve y puede recordar el abogado en el televisor. Sí,
¿Cuál?
mirando ahorita.
How do you say
sí ve y
screen?
sí puede
Rick, how do you
conocer.
say screen? How do you say screen in Spanish, somebody on the screen?
Pantalla, Judge.
Or on the monitor? Well, how do you say it, Mr. Vasquez?
Pantalla.
Pantalla is the screen?
Mhm.
There you go, Mr. Rick. We learned something today, so go ahead and ask him
Alright.
again.
Mirando en la pantalla, sí conoce a su abogado.
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, What is the offer in this case?
Your Honor, the offer in this case is,
I'm not hearing you.
for
I heard
a,
absolutely.
to
Wait,
deferred or a
wait.
444B.
wait. Can you hear me?
I think
you
it's
hear me?
delayed, Judge.
I'm sorry.
I think it's delayed.
Yeah, but that much? Like 5 sentences delayed?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Mr. Nunez, we didn't hear a word you're saying. Your internet is bad. Can you shut off your video? And speak?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the offer?
Your Honor, the 1244A, 2 years deferred, or 1244B, time served.
It may have been
Okay.
that terrible mustache, Judge.
He what? At least we don't have to look at that terrible mustache, right? That's good. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Darnell. I'm happy with that. Mr. Anything with a 1244B, Mr. Wyatt, is music to the defense attorney's ears.
There's some immigration issues on this, Judge, and I've just got an opinion from Scott Foster. So I want to have our client come and to our office and chat with him just to make sure that he understands what's going on and he's okay with it. I'm supposed to have Danny. Danny just recently spoke to him, so I wanted to see if anything had changed. And I'm trying to get them to bring Danny Avalar here, but apparently maybe he's not in the office yet. What I will do is I will have myself and Danny will get a hold of David just to make sure.
Okay, can we have another settlement conference in about 30 days? It looks like this might settle. Can we do another 30-day settlement conference?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Settlement conference in 30 days. Anything else in this case, Mr. Wyatt?
No, ma'am.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. You may be excused. You have another one, Mr. Wyatt. Manuel Rivera, 2018, 4951. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
I'm Derek White on behalf of Mr. Rivera, respectfully ready to proceed, Judge.
Very good. What's happening in this case, Mr. Nunez?
Judge, they need to ID each other.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Is he on the screen, Mr. Rivera?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rivera, there you are. You're the one that asked about the recording. Mr. Rivera, do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Wyatt, on the screen?
Yes.
And Mr. Wyatt, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Rick, thank you for the reminder. Okay, now, Mr. Nunez, what's happening?
Your Honor, the recommendation is 2 years deferred probation.
Okay, what happened to Mr. Nunez? Not only did we lose his mustache, but we lost his voice. What happened?
There was audio-visual difficulties, Your Honor.
Okay, thank God you're on.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
needs to go to the office or he needs to go to a Starbucks. I've been telling him since the beginning of Zoom. Mr. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, you just say yes, 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 and nobody pays attention. Okay, 2 years deferred. Mr. Wyatt, what are you thinking?
I had been talking to David about, because there was some issues of the police report versus some of the witness statement. I countered with 2 years probation on a criminal trespass.
What do you think, Mr. Martinez?
We'll look at the case further, Your Honor. I can't offer that right now, but
Okay.
I'll make a note of what Mr.
Good, thank you, sir.
Mr.
Thank
Wyatt
you.
is proposing.
Good, good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That's all I can ask you to do. We're going to set this up. I think we may settle it. Let's set this up, settlement conference in 30 days. Okay, gentlemen?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, Mr. Wyatt?
No, ma'am.
Anything else, Mr. Martinez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Are we done with you, Mr. Wyatt?
No, I have one more, Your Honor.
Oh, the next one is Alejandro Luis Lopez or Luis Alejandro Lopez, 2018-33-19. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Derek White on behalf of Mr. Lopez, Your Honor, respectfully ready to proceed.
Okay, another settlement conference. What's the offer in this case, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor. Recommendation. Mr. Wyatt's guy is in jail, Judge.
Ah, thank you. Are you waiving, Mr.? I keep forgetting this afternoon. Thank
Yes,
you.
he is in custody, Your Honor.
And you waive his appearance for this hearing?
We waive his appearance, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. I keep forgetting. Okay. What is it, Mr. Martinez?
15 TDC, Your Honor.
Yeah, we're nowhere close.
Okay. Do you think this has to be something that we put on the trial track and try this whenever, or do you think another settlement conference might be fruitful? What do you guys think?
I mean, we're at 15. Ivan, what does your complaining witness have to say about this?
She's on board.
Are you sure, Mr. Martinez? You didn't sound too convincing to me.
I'm convinced, Your Honor.
Well, sound more convincing because you don't sound too convincing. When was the last time you spoke with her? 2 years ago. When did you speak with her?
We touched base. Okay, no. We've spoken with her in February, Judge, but we've touched base with her before. She is on board. She's willing to come in. She's willing to testify. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, but you talked to her pre-COVID time.
Pre-COVID, yes.
Yeah, okay. You know, COVID does crazy things to people. These are crazy times. Maybe she has a different heart, a different perspective.
Did she speak to victims' assistance or the DA's office?
Both, Your Honor.
She spoke to both? Now, Anita, was that a delay? Hell no. I don't know why the heck you didn't answer, Mr. Martinez. Sheesh.
He needs to speak up a little bit too, please.
And you need to speak up. You're not being very convincing. I don't know what your problem is. Maybe you're upset because Mr. Nunez's internet doesn't work and you have to work, Mr. Martinez, or what?
No, not at all, Judge. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
I wish you sounded convincing, but okay. So this complaining witness spoke to both, Mr.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we're probably going to have a sticking point on that one. Of my three, Judge, I will get with David on Irving Luna. Maybe we can work that out. Maybe we can work out Manuel Rivera. In terms of Luis Lopez, the instant case we're discussing, my client's not going to take 15, but I'll have to go out to the jail and chat with him about it. I'll follow up with David as well.
Let's do this. Let's just have one more settlement conference on Mr. Lopez
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that you can talk to him so that maybe he's inclined to give Mr. Martinez a counteroffer, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
it. And then if after this one time with a 15-year rec, it may not be worth settlement conferences every 30 days. We'll just put it in the trial track, the trial,
Yes.
jury trial list of 100 and some cases.
Yeah.
Okay, so try to make a counteroffer if your client allows you.
Yes, ma'am. We'll work on that.
Okay, so settlement conference in 30 days. Mr. Martinez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Wyatt?
Thank you for entertaining our hearings, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Be safe out there. Nice to see you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's nice
Have a
to
great
see you
day.
for a change instead of, I like Avelar, but it's nice to see you for a change.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to start covering all our hearings.
Oh, good. Okay.
For all my hearings, we've hopefully worked out the safety issues and all that kind of stuff, and we're hopefully we're going to get back to the swing of practicing law.
In these COVID times, right?
Yeah.
Nothing normal. Nothing normal, though. Thank
Nope,
you.
not normal.
Be safe. Be safe, Mr. Wyatt.
Mr. Wyatt.
Thank you.
Mr. Wyatt, Mr. Rivera, and Luna are still on screen.
So tell your client, yeah, tell your clients to get off, or you want me to remove them?
I guess just go ahead and remove them.
Okay, it's Manuel Rivera's one, right, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, and who's the other one, Rick?
Actually, just
Irving
one,
Luna.
Your Honor, if I may.
Tell me again.
Irving Luna, did you talk to this?
Hi, Your Honor.
I've got-
Mr. Ave. Oh, look at that snazzy mask.
You know,
I like it.
I'll just call David about it because I don't want to reveal any attorney-client stuff
No
accidentally.
worries. I'm removing Mr. Luna right now, Mr. Wyatt, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you. It's good to see you both. Good to see you
Good to
both.
see you too,
Stay
Judge.
safe. Stay safe. Thank you. Mr. Jeep Darnell, you're the next one. Viviana Nasin, 2018-4606. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Jeep Darnell for Viviana Nassim. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon. Is she on the screen participating or not?
No, Your Honor.
I'm getting
Miss
you off. Don't worry, Mr. Wyatt.
Nassim was arrested. The police were called out for a mental health emergency, and she was arrested on Friday, I believe.
Oh, my
So she
goodness.
is in custody.
Very well. Okay, so did you waive her appearance here today?
I do, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you.
And we are working. I was appointed on the new case. We are working to try and get her over to UBH. I may need to file a writ on that. If I do, I'll get that to the court, but we're working on that right now.
What was she arrested for?
They have charged her, charging her, the crime of arrest was aggravated assault. Her son, one of her sons, is a complaining witness who was calling the police on a mental health call, and they ended up arresting her.
Okay. Okay. Are you appointed? We'll appoint you on that other case as well, Mr. Darnell? Are you
I was
appointed?
hired on this one, but on the new case, I've already been appointed by the jail magistrate, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Martinez or Mr. Nunez, is Mr. Nunez back or not? He's not going to be back?
No, Your Honor, not yet.
Okay.
I'll be handling this one as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Martinez, I'm glad you're here. What's the offer for Mr. Darnell on this one?
Well, Judge, he's right. This new case has not been presented to our, well, it perhaps has been presented to our office, but it's still in screening.
Right.
So I don't have a rec on the new one. The rec on the, if it's even going to be true billed or, accepted by our office, I don't even know what the status is. But on the new case, the rec was,
Yeah, but is that rec going to still stand with an arrest for ag assault?
I need to look at the new case, Your Honor. I don't know. It just depends.
I understand.
I don't know, but I can say this much. The rec on this case was assault, Class A, 2 years deferred. But you're right, that's subject to change depending on what the status is on this new ag assault, of course.
Okay, so okay, that was a pretty good rec before this ag assault, Mr.
Your Honor, if you'll recall, this was the one where you yelled at Ivan Martinez and called him names because I have a non-pros from the police officer who was the complaining witness, excuse me.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. I remember that. Mr. Martinez,
Yes, Your Honor.
can't it get any better than Class A misdemeanor when the police officer doesn't want to prosecute? And this woman has mental health issues, obviously, because she just got arrested again.
Well, Judge, I think the fact that she just got arrested again indicates that she does need some supervision. She does need some structure. Thus, the 2 years deferred on the Class A misdemeanor.
Okay.
If this has to get tried, Your Honor, it would be an insanity issue, and we were holding off, as we discussed at the last hearing, going through the insanity process. I have an email into Mr. Esparza to discuss this case. Obviously, that is now complicated, but by the new case.
Well, let's try to trudge through this. Let me help you as much as I can. Let's set this up for another 30 days and see where we're at. Is this
Yes,
maybe
ma'am.
the case where we can hopefully settle it, or maybe I can, maybe Ivan's heart will be moved, or I can convince Ivan.
Well,
Ivan
Judge,
is often known to have a moving heart.
Sometimes he does. He can be very compassionate at times. Absolutely. I agree.
Absolutely.
Let's think positive on this one.
Compassionate and just.
And just, that's right. And fair and all those good things. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Darnell?
I think I've done enough damage for one day, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Martinez?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Y'all may be excused. Have a great day.
You
Miss
too,
Rita,
Judge.
do you have the person there that you're training? Yes, there she is nodding in the background. Who is she?
This is Amparo. She's coming to us from the county clerk's office.
Amparo, welcome. You're getting trained by the best of the best, Miss Rita Blanco. In my closet. Right? You're getting trained by the best of the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Next one is Alfredo Kraft. Mr. Jaime Olivas. I let Jaime Olivas in, right? Jaime's iPhone? Is that you, Mr.
Yes,
Olivas?
he's here. He's on mute.
At this time, court calls cause number 2019-2256, Alfredo Kraft. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Jaime Olivas' phone is on mute, Judge.
Judge Jaime Olivas for Mr. Kraft. We are ready to proceed, Judge.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Olivas. Do you see and recognize your client on the screen, Mr. Olivas?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Kraft, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. And your client is the defendant in this case, Mr. Olivas? I forgot to ask that part.
That's correct, Judge. Yes.
Thank you. Let the record reflect everybody's identified each other as they should. Mr. Martinez. What's the deal?
Yes, Your
on-
Honor. Okay. So this
settlement?
case is related to a misdemeanor DWI case, and the recommendation is once the defendant pleads to probation on the DWI case, as put forth in the rec tab there, we'll offer 1244A, 2 years deferred with the standard conditions on this felony drug case.
Okay, Mr. Olivas, what are you thinking on this one?
Ivan, any chance 1244B time served? I was asking for a dismissal.
1244B time served. Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, okay, so he pleads on the misdemeanor DWI with the terms and conditions as are stated there. And once
Right.
he's done that, then we can plead him out to time served on the 1244B in this case.
Okay, let me talk to my client, Judge. I think 30 days status would work for this. We'll either fish or cut bait.
Perfect. 30-day settlement conference. Who says, Mr. Martinez, see, you are reasonable and just? Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You know that coronavirus causes delirium.
Do you see? I know it causes people to do crazy things. I understand that. Thank you, Mr. Olivas. Thank you.
I've been-
Excuse settlement conference in 30 days. Goodbye. Have a good life.
Thank you, Judge.
Gilberto Lopez, that's Mr.
Thank you,
Crowe. Court calls cause number 2019-3023. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Carl DeCoatsburger, Mr. Lopez, ready.
Very good. Did I let Mr. Lopez in, or are you going to waive his appearance?
So I think he's in federal custody, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay, so you're waiving his appearance?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Martinez, what's the story on Mr. Lopez?
6 months in the county jail under 1244A.
He's in federal custody, Mr. DeCotes, you said?
Yes, Judge.
Why is he in federal custody? What happened?
So he allegedly graduated to bigger and better amounts,
Oh,
right? This is kind of a smaller amount.
okay. I get the picture. I get the picture. Did we know he was in federal custody, Mr. Martinez?
He has a bit of a criminal history, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, I think, yes, he's actually has felony convictions here in El Paso. I may not have known about the federal one, but I definitely was aware of his overall criminal history.
Well, knowing about the federal new charge, the new and improved charge, as Mr.
No, that
wants to put-
shouldn't
that
affect the
doesn't
rec.
impact-
The rec is fine. Yeah.
So, do we wait to see what the feds do?
I suppose so, Your Honor. I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to have the time. I'm sure he'd be inclined to take this deal, but right now, I think we just wait.
Well, we might have to, because he is in, Mr. Castañeda, he's in federal custody. We even do we have access to him at all?
Judge, I'm showing that a warrant was issued in May, but that they haven't served it, and he's only
My
being.
warrant? My warrant?
Yes, Judge. and that he's being held by the feds
Okay.
without a
He's-
bond.
We have no access to him anyway. We have zero access to him. Okay. You want to set this up in 60 days and see what the feds have done or not done? You guys, 60 days, you
That's
think
fine with me.
you think
That's
that's
okay
enough?
with me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Judge.
60 days. Please be safe out there, Mr. Dakotes. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. The next one is Joanna Hernandez. Ms. Velarde, court calls number 2019-4010, State of Texas versus Joanna Hernandez. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Monique Velarde from Ms. Hernandez. Defense is ready, Your Honor.
And do you see and recognize your client on the screen as your client and as the defendant in this case? Ms.
I
Velarde?
do. I barely recognize her, but I do see her.
I don't remember her with red hair, right?
Right.
She has red hair and you look beautiful. You look very pretty with red hair. Let me find her. There you go. Yes, she looks very good. Do you see and recognize Mr. Hernandez, your attorney in this case? Can you unmute? Here you go. Speak to me, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes, I see her. She's
Very well. Yes, ma'am. Your hair looks great red. Okay. Okay, Mr. Martinez, talk to me about this one. What are we doing with her?
Let's see here, Your Honor. The rec is 2 years in state jail, probated for 3 years with the standard conditions.
Ms. Velarde, what are you thinking?
Yes, Ms. Hernandez and I discussed this. She's actually willing to take this offer, Your Honor. The only thing I would ask if Mr. Martinez as well, if you would consider, if the last time we were here was not such great circumstances, but I can tell you Ms. Hernandez has been attending treatments. It has been working. She has, she does 6 hours of counseling a week, as well as another, I think an hour or so, that she continues the counseling. She on herself has started taking, she took it upon herself to start taking parenting classes, as well as taking advantage of the treatments and the plans and the care that they offer at Iliviani. So one of the parts of the probation was 150 hours of community service. I just was hoping you would consider allowing her counseling to count for that community service.
What I want to ask at this time, Ms. Rita, I'm not used to you participating here. I'm glad that you are, of course. I was excited last night when I heard. She's on PR bond, right?
Yes, Judge. Yes, sir.
Okay. And if I handle anybody, Ms. Rita, that is on PR bond that is not compliant, you're going to jump in and tell me, right? Like you did in court, you would stand up and tell me?
Yes, Judge, I'll interject, but Ms. Hernandez has been compliant, and we did receive a phone call from her substance abuse counselor just yesterday, letting us know that she is fully participating, that she's doing 7 hours a week, and that she's been, getting better with complying with her stuff.
Wow, what a turnaround, Ms. Hernandez. I know we started off on bad terms with you, and I recognize you. Your attorney's right. But my God, what a turnaround. Ms. Rita, tell me about her attitude, because she looks like she has a great attitude.
Oh. I actually don't know, Judge, since she's not my client anymore. She's Hector Gonzalez, but just from looking at her, Judge, like she's like healthier. She's got she's smiling. It's a
She has a positive.
She was my client.
She has a positive aura about you. You have a positive aura about you, Ms. Hernandez. You look beautiful. You radiate beauty. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. You really have. You really have had a great influence on her as well, Ms. Velarde. I'm sure you had a lot to do with it too.
I don't know about that, but I think she just needed a push in the right direction, and it's working out.
Good. I think we ought to do that, what Ms. Velarde is asking. What do you think, Mr. Martinez?
That's fine. Whatever credit you feel is warranted. But I did want to point out that this case, since it's her second DWI, this would be actually her second DWI conviction. Now, one of the conditions of this probation is 3 days in jail as a condition of that probation. So DWI, school, sober link, VIP, the usual DWI conditions.
Is she on a
We did. She is on the device, Your Honor. We did discuss the 3 days. That's not a problem. She understands that as well. The only thing I did hear, Mr. Martinez, and I don't know how you work on these, Judge, is that they're not taking any ACOP people right now at the jail with everything, but she understands that we've already discussed all of the terms and we're good with them.
I'm okay. We have 2 years. She's gonna plead to 2 years. So we have 2 years. So I have no problem with not imposing the 3 days ACOP until all this craziness is over and the jail calms down. So I'm okay with that. And Mr. Martinez, I don't know if you know this, or maybe, but I think Becky did send you an email, Mr. Martinez and Mr. Nunez, if you can still hear me, is that we're gonna start the non-custodial pleas next week. And we're gonna utilize training. We're gonna utilize the training center. Now that, you know, everything's closing down again, I can't hold those off. So we're gonna be utilizing the training center for that. Becky has sent you an email to start getting all the plea papers ready. So Ms. Velarde, we can do a plea hopefully within the next 30 days, because we're starting.
Perfect.
We can only do six a week with our allotted time slot there, okay?
Not a problem. Your Honor, we're ready when the court is. As soon as we get papers, we'll have them signed, have them ready to go so that when you set it, we're already good to go.
Absolutely. And I won't impose the ACOP for at least another 6 months at least, right? At
I
least.
know that Ms. Hernandez was ready to do them next week if you needed them to be done. She's ready to go forward. Like I said, it's a big turnaround. We want to kind of stay on that uphill, you know, on the high end of all of this. So whenever you all are ready, we will be.
Ms. Hernandez, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. There's no infractions on her alcohol monitoring device, Miss Rita?
No, Judge, she's on 6 times a day. There's like a couple times where she tests like a few minutes late, but never like missing a bunch, no positives, nothing like that.
Beautiful, beautiful. You are on the right track. Can I ask, and if, of course, if you object to these questions, Ms. Velarde, please, what are you doing, Ms. Hernandez? Are you working? I know you're complying with your PR bond, but are you working? Are you going to school? What are you planning to do, or what are you doing?
Well, right now, I had lost my job because of the COVID-19. I wanted to get a job. I applied for unemployment. So I was able to get unemployment. And well, now that I'm taking the Aliviane classes, it's 6 hours a class. And then I also, on top of that, my counseling. So when I got the unemployment, I was just like, well, I guess what am I going to do? Just being at home. And then the Aliviane came, and then I was like, I think that happened for this reason. So I could actually focus on myself, because before I'd always just work. I didn't care about, oh, I'm sad. I didn't care. That's when I would drink if I felt bad. But now that I have all this time to work on myself, like, I think it's perfect. And I'm taking full advantage of that, like taking full advantage of the Aliviane classes. Like, I feel like more welcome. And I see that it is doing a lot of positive things, like around me, the way I react with other people, like, so I don't get in trouble. Like, I just walk away from it now. And if I have issues, I have them to talk about it. So instead of me like trying to find another way to get rid of it, like, so it's very helpful. That's what I'm focusing on now. And
amen to you. I'm proud of you. All of us have, to some extent, have to reinvent ourselves during this quarantine pandemic. We've been forced to reinvent ourselves, and we can reinvent ourselves negatively, or we can reinvent ourselves positively. Ms. Hernandez, you have reinvented yourself in such a positive, beautiful way, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You should be proud, Ms. Velarde. This is a
I
success
am
story.
very proud.
Hope it's a success story and it stays that way. Okay, put it on the list of pleas. It'll be within 30 days.
No problem, Your Honor.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Hernandez, be safe out there. Continue focusing. Don't give up on yourself, and continue.
Thank you for pushing me. Thank you.
I don't think I pushed you. I just screamed a lot.
Yeah, I needed to hear it. My skull's like really thick.
Good. I'm glad it worked. Ms. Velarde, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Martinez.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may be excused. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, the next one is Manuel Mateo. Roger Montoya, 2019-4282. Announce my counsel, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Roger Montoya for Mr. Mateo, Your Honor.
Hello, Mr. Montoya. How are you?
I'm well, Judge. How about yourself?
Good, sir. I'm good. Mr. Mateo, I don't think is on the screen. Yes, is it Manny Mateo?
That's right, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Mateo, there you are, sir. Do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen, Mr. Montoya?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Mr. Montoya, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case? Look at Mr. Montoya, you look scary.
I do recognize him, Your Honor.
Your eyeball looks scary, Mr. Montoya. What's the matter with you?
Sorry, Judge. I was just taking a good close look.
My goodness. Okay. Okay. Well, Mr. Martinez, where are you?
Here, Your Honor.
What are we looking at on this case?
There's two options here, Your Honor. We're offering 2 years deferred on the 1244A with standard probation terms, or time served on the 1244B.
Time served on 1244B?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you got it. What do you think, Mr. Montoya?
Your Honor, as offers go, it's a very good and reasonable offer. However, my client is not interested in a guilty plea. What he is trying to achieve and what I'm trying to help him to achieve is a dismissal. Now, I yesterday sent some materials to the prosecutors, both to Mr. Martinez and Mr. Nunez, some stuff that my client had provided for me, some materials regarding his volunteer activities in the community, his paid activities working at the Lydia Patterson Institute, participation in voluntary participation in Narcotics Anonymous, and some other materials for the consideration of the DA's office. Now, I understand that the DA's office position as of now is that they're not interested in helping us out with a dismissal, and they have their reasons, and my client continues to provide me with materials which I'm going to forward to the DA. But in the absence of their agreement to work with us in that vein, I have filed a motion to suppress.
Okay.
I
Okay, sir.
haven't asked for a hearing on that as yet because I was trying to work with the prosecutors.
Miss Rita, can you give me a report on Mr. Mateo? Is he on a PR bond or not?
He is, Judge.
How's he doing?
He's great, Judge. He's always in communication with me, always voluntarily just giving me volunteer stuff. He does referees for the city. He gives me his NA sheets all the time. He does community service. He does like toy drives. He's like all over the place, Judge.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Does that move your heart, Mr. Martinez? Thank you, Miss Rita. Mr. You see why we need you so much here, Rita? You give good and bad to try to help. I really wish you would participate. With this Zoom stuff, why can't you do your work? I won't bother you unless I need you.
I know, Judge, I know.
Why can't you ask the powers that be over there?
Because they're the powers, Judge. They tell me what to do.
Okay.
Good. David Nunez for this.
Hi, Mr. Nunez, you're back.
I'm hoping it works, Judge.
Okay. Talk to me, sir. Talk to me.
Well, from what we see, he did get he did have a similar charge dismissed in 2018. I think that's why our position is where it is, Your Honor. I guess we feel he's already had his chance in that instance, and I think we're offering him a more than reasonable offer here in this case. That's outside of a dismissal, another dismissal, of course.
Right. Okay. Okay. Everybody's trying to push in that direction, Mr. Montoya. I'm giving you all the help that you can get, right?
Yes, Your Honor, and I do appreciate it. I also want the court to note, however, that Mr. Martinez, in the context of having a completely dark background, looks far scarier than I do.
In any eyeball you gave me? No, Mr. Martinez looks pretty good. I just saw him. Oh God, no, he's all,
Well, his whiskers are very impressive.
he's in
They're
the black.
not as good as mine,
No,
but he
you,
does have some very impressive whiskers.
I think you even beat Mr. Nunez's mustache. I agree. Your beard is much
Thank you,
better
Judge.
than Mr. Nunez's mustache. Okay. Okay, Mr. Martinez, and Mr. Nunez, we're good. I mean, there's nothing else we can do. So we're gonna proceed
Your
with the
Honor,
next. We're gonna proceed,
can
right?
you guys hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you now.
Yes, Your Honor, and I apologize. No, Mr. Montoya is right that he's had a misdemeanor dismissed, I think, through pretrial diversion. He's had a felony case dismissed through an arrangement almost identical to what Mr. Montoya is proposing right now. Before, in 2018, I dismissed a felony drug case. So to go on the third time around, I think that's a bit unreasonable.
I can respect that perspective. I can respect it, Mr. Martinez. I just wanted to give you all the good stuff of him and see if anything moved you, but it doesn't, and I respect.
And I appreciate Mr. Montoya providing that. I do. And that's, he probably provided very similar things back in 2018, which I took into account in dismissing that case. But no, now the third time, that's too much.
I respect that position. I told you, I respect that. Okay. Ms. Becky, we're going to set up for an MTS, then is what we have to do, right? Is all of this obviously off the table once the MTS goes, right, Mr. Martinez?
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, I explained to Mr. Montoya that those recs are off the table today, that from this point forward, that,
Hey.
we'll just, yeah.
Okay. Did you know that, Mr. Montoya, and you're willing to say no?
Yes, Your Honor. My client and I actually met today before making this appearance. He's aware, and he's willing to take the risk.
Do you think
he
I'm
can
trying to take
achieve a
care of
better
you.
result?
I'm trying to
for
take care.
litigation.
I'm trying to take care of you, Mr. Mateo. Do you think you have a good suppressible issue, Mr. Montoya?
I think it's very colorable, yes, Your Honor. I think it's
Very
a
what?
very color. I think it's a very colorable issue. It's a very it's very presentable. I mean, the police report basically goes from we were on patrol. We found a car that was idling with the windows open and the music playing. We stood by to wait for the owner. My client, the owner, presented himself, and then just kind of jumps from there to we're searching him. So I think there's a lot missing there in terms of a reasonable suspicion to detain him, probable cause to search. I think it, yeah, and then there's some statements that I think should have been obtained only after he was Mirandized, etc. I think that we have some issues, yes.
Okay. Am I to understand that this was a vehicle, windows a little cracked open, music blaring, empty? There was no occupants in the vehicle?
Right, Your Honor. Yeah, I know it's an unusual situation. I mean, most people I don't think would leave their vehicle, with the motor running. But my client felt it was safe to do so, so he did. I mean, we're not going to contest the reason for contact, but as far as reasonable suspicion to detain him, PC to search him, all of that, I think that, being that it's missing from the police report, the officer will be hard pressed to explain it.
Okay, sir. Okay, you're gonna get your MTS. So I just wanted to make sure that, there is a issue, substantive issue, because to give up 1244, A or B is kind of tough. Okay, you know what you're doing. You're a good attorney. Okay, we're gonna set this up for an MTS, Ms. Becky, ASAP. You'll get notice, Mr. Montoya. Anything else, sir, in this case?
No, Your Honor, that's all that I have to address today.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, Mr. Nunez or Mr. Martinez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day. Thank you. Jerry Colbert. Thank you. Jerry Colbert, 2019-71-19. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
With the state, we're ready, Your Honor.
Very good. Mr. Colbert is not participating, right?
No, Judge, we're gonna waive his, he's in custody. He's in custody, Judge.
Very well. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Nunez. What's the offer in this case?
Your Honor, the current offer is 10 TDC.
Ish. Okay, Mr.
Uh,
Bosch.
Yes, we discussed this case before. We had a prior hearing.
Okay.
This is the case that, well, you told me that I convinced you, because you felt sad for my client, for the situation that he was in. We ended.
I remember. I
Yes.
remember.
So we ended up, the hearing may be expected that perhaps Mr. Nunez will review the case. We're asking for 5 years TDC, Judge.
5 TDC, Mr. Nunez is the counter. What are you thinking?
Your Honor, this defendant he can be habitualized. Not only does he have the sex offenses, he also has an AFB enhanced conviction in 2010 where he was sentenced to 2 TDC, along with another failure to register where he was sentenced to 3 TDC. The original offense, the sex offense, was at 9 TDC, Your Honor. I think this is more than reasonable rec given those circumstances, Judge.
Okay. Okay. Isn't this the one where he was homeless, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, Judge. He was here in El Paso. He informed the detective that he was gonna move to Dallas with his sister. So he goes to Dallas, but the sister at some point, I don't know, she changed her mind, or she just couldn't have him. And this is when he is back just to being homeless, and he doesn't report. He gets arrested in Dallas. But he informed El Paso police that he was going to do it. It was his troubles in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yes. But he told the officer here, I'm going to move, just so you know.
Okay.
Then a few days later, he's homeless in Dallas again because the sister said, I can't have you. And he's back.
And then he got arrested. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor.
The homeless part didn't move your heart. No.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So then, Mr. Vasquez, I guess we'll just, no more settlement conferences. I think we'll just put this on the bottom of the list of to try cases.
Yeah, I have to go back to the jail and discuss it with my client, explain that he can be habitualized and all that, because he got rejected the 10 years offer. He got rejected, like, no,
And
I'm
now
not
you
gonna.
can, and now you can tell them that they rejected the 5.
Yes.
Right, that they rejected the 5. But I don't think we need another settlement conference, do we? Or do you think one will be?
No, Judge. I'll discuss it with him, and then there's no rush for this case. Then I'll let you know.
Right. Okay. Okay. I don't want to be spinning my wheels on these cases, setting them for settlement conferences if we've reached the end. Okay. Very well. So no settings on this case. You're going to put it on the trial docket, Miss Becky, please. Did you have another one, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, Judge. On page 7, Sean Lewis, Judge.
Sean Anthony Lewis, court calls cause number 2019-2852. And ask on the council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Rene Vasquez for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, is Mr. Lewis present at this, sir?
No, Your Honor. I'm going to waive his presence, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. The table is 10 years deferred probation,
Got it.
drug counseling, $500 fine, 200 hours of community service, UABA, as well as a curfew.
And curfew. What are you saying? What are you thinking, Mr. Vasquez?
We want to counter with 5 deferred, dismissing all the misdemeanors, Judge, and I think we have a deal, Judge.
5 deferred, dismissing misdemeanors. How many misdemeanors?
With all the conditions that Mr. Nunez just announced.
How many misdemeanors do we have?
3, Judge.
Okay. 3 misdemeanors. What are you thinking, Mr. Nunez? Can you do that?
Your Honor, I will recounter with the time served on the resisting and then dismissing the possession of marijuana. There's 2 of them, Your Honor. Those are both misdemeanors. And I will go down to the 5 deferred.
Okay.
So 5 deferred, time served on the resisting and dismissing the other 2. That's good, Judge.
Yes.
That's good, right?
Yes.
This is, he's out on bond, right?
Yes, yes, Judge.
Okay. Let's set it up for a plea. It'll be within 30 days.
Okay, perfect.
Yes? And that's
Yes.
the deal. Great. Great. Does he need an interpreter?
No, he's not gonna need one.
Okay, great. Okay, anything else, Mr. Vasquez? Are we done with you?
No.
With your? Good.
Yes,
Mr.
I'm not.
Anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day. Have a great day. Okay, I'm going back. We finished on page 5. Page 6 is Mark Anthony Martinez. I don't think I've allowed. Is somebody on for Corey Harbor? I've not allowed her in.
And
Okay.
Judge, it's not 2 o'clock yet, so I guess as soon as she's back, we'll get on. She's the one that had the doctor's appointment.
I know I remember that, but okay, these are set for 2 o'clock. I didn't notice that, Becky. I thought they were all set for 1 o'clock.
No,
Okay.
they're not, but you heard one of Derek Wyatt since he was on the screen. He did one of his 2 o'clocks.
Richard Huffman, you're here, right? Let's take care of Sean Butts, 2019 1741 and 2017 5291. State of Texas versus Sean Butts. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Butts, we are ready.
Mr. Huffman, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And Mr. Butts, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you, Mr. Butts? Good to see you.
Good, Your Honor.
Good. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, talk to me about Mr. Butts. Who's
Yes,
probation? Hang on a second. Probation? Did anybody announce from probation? Mr. Artemio?
And Judge
Mendoza, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Miss Mendoza, she's here.
Miss Mendoza.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Okay.
And it's my understanding that this alleged offense occurred before Mr. Butts got placed on probation.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I think I remember that now. I didn't remember it before. Ms. Mendoza, that's right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Got
It is prior to being placed on probation.
Probation, good. Okay. Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. So that is correct, as I see as well. The offense allegedly occurred on April 14th of 2014. That said, I did go ahead and reach out to the reporting party as well as one of the managers of this leasing business, which is Aaron's leasing business. That's what it's called. And they are still available. They're on board to prosecute. And I did reach out to Mr. Huffman, and he relayed to me that he was also looking into it on his part, and he was trying to look into whether that debt was sold and that his client subsequently paid. I think Mr. Huffman can, before I make a recommendation tab on the rec tab, Your Honor, I'd like to see where we stand on that and whether or not there is any restitution to be paid or not.
Mr. Hoffman, can you explain?
Yes, Judge. So this offense allegedly occurred in 2014. Mr. Butts wasn't arrested until 2020 or 2019. The prosecution indicted the case about a week before the 5-year statute of limitations ran. In the meantime, you know, he resolved another case. I think there was another offense from 2018, 2019, and that's why he's on probation now. So he was obviously easily accessible, but he never knew about these charges. Back then, it's our understanding from talking to Aaron's, and I still need to do some research, that basically there were multiple transactions between Mr. Butts and Aaron's that happened over a period of like 8 months. So basically Mr. Butts was a regular customer, and he defaulted on the payment. It was like a rent to own kind of a TV, 2 TVs and a PlayStation. So it's my understanding that he defaulted, but after he defaulted, Aaron's sold the debt to a third-party debt collector. And we've been trying to get a hold of this third-party debt collector. Mr. Butts paid this debt collector, but because it's been so long, he has lost the records from paying them back. So it is kind of a weird situation. I think we certainly have a speedy trial issue. And I think that Aaron's has already been compensated through selling the debt to that third-party debt collector. And Judge, I'm thinking that this third-party debt collector, it's going to be difficult to get the records from them because just kind of Googling them, they sound kind of like a shady third-party debt collector. But we're working on getting that so we can, provide that to the prosecution that the restitution has been paid. But I'm hopeful we can get that, but I'm not, I wouldn't be surprised if we made some calls yesterday and we're having trouble getting through to that third-party debt collector.
Would it be beneficial for Mr. Botts to look at his bank records?
And I did suggest that, and we'll be trying to get that as well, Judge.
Okay.
I'll see. I forgot what that situation was, but I know Mr. Butts had like an online banking account, and so getting the records might be difficult because it goes back. I mean, we're talking 6 years. But we're definitely going to work on that as well.
Yeah, this is a third party, a shady, like you characterize, a shady third party debt collector. You may fare better by going to Mr. Butts's personal records, right?
Sure, and Judge, there's another interesting issue. The contract with this Aaron's Rent-A-Center included an arbitration agreement, which was never pursued. So I don't know, and I think that might also be an issue with our case. Why didn't they go to arbitration? It's but there are a lot of issues, Judge, and we'll work through it, but we're not there yet.
I don't know if their failure to comply with their lease agreement has any impact on the criminal.
Well, I mean,
but
I don't know. Yeah, and I'm not sure, Judge. So that's another issue that we have to research.
Okay. Now, shady or not shady, Mr. Nunez, does it make any difference so long as you get proof that some payment was made, right? A compromise to settle? I think it's what they do. They just paid a lesser amount to settle the account.
Yes, sir, that's why.
It doesn't matter, right? Just so long as he provides proof that he's paid, right?
Yes, and it's solely in determining restitution in that case.
Now, at this point, solely to determine restitution, your offer is going to be the same, just restitution amount different?
Yes. My thoughts on this are deferred probation. However, it depends on whether it's going to be restitution and a little bit less community service, or a lot of community service, no restitution. That's kind of where I'm thinking.
Okay, I understand now.
And yeah, we're not considering that, Judge. We've got some serious constitutional issues with this case, and I think it's a clear-cut speedy trial violation. So the defer is not going to do us any good. I might as well just file some motions, but I still want to see if I can get those records, because that would obviously add to our case for a speedy trial violation if we can't get those records.
Okay.
And
What, Mr. Hoffman, anything? No?
That's all, Judge.
Okay, there are lots of issues in this case, yeah. So I think we need to set this up for another 30 days, and let's see what progress we've made in 30 days. Is that a good idea? Because I think we can settle this thing.
I think so.
Right?
Yes. Like I said, I did speak with the witnesses, the reporting party, and like I said, the manager of the store. I mean, I would offer a bench trial as a possibility if that's something that Mr. Hoffman would agree to.
Well, if we get past the speedy trial issue, then we might consider that, Judge.
Okay, that's a good, quick way to resolve it. I appreciate that, gentlemen. I do, because we're not going to see a courtroom for a long time for jury trials. So yes, that's a good resolution. Thank you, Mr. Nunez, for that suggestion. I forget about that. But let's give you guys another 30 days to hash out all the issues so that Mr. Hoffman can have peace of mind that he's turned over every rock and every issue that he's presented. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Let's do that. So let's do 30 days. Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Settlement conference in 30 days. Mr. Butts, are you doing okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
You look very well, sir. You look very good, sir. And thank you for realizing that this is a courtroom, sir. You are
Yes.
dressed appropriately. You are dressed appropriately as well, sir, and you show the respect. So
Yes,
the
Your
same to me, sir, and I greatly appreciate you.
Yes, Your Honor.
I do, sir. How's your wife?
She's good, Your Honor.
Good. You give her my best.
Yes, Your Honor, I will.
Okay, sir. You take care.
Okay, I can leave?
You can leave. Goodbye. Have a good life.
Okay, Your Honor.
Bye, Mr. Buds.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here today. The next one is Mr. Leonard Morales. I don't think he's on yet. The next one is Clemente Galvez. Mr. Anthony Gonzalez. Did I let you in, Mr. Anthony Gonzalez?
You did, Judge. Good afternoon.
I have so many on. I forgot about you, Mr. Gonzalez. Let's take care of you.
I just got on. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Court call number 2019-3262, Clemente Galvez. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Speed is ready.
Anthony Gonzalez for Mr. Galvez. We're ready, Your Honor.
I don't think Mr. Galvez is participating here today, right, Mr. Gonzalez?
He's incarcerated, Your Honor.
Okay, so do you waive his appearance for purposes of today's hearing, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. The last recommendation we had was 10 TDC.
Ish. That's a lot.
So, Your Honor, before the hearing, I had an opportunity to talk to Ivan Martinez because I've been working with Mr. Martinez on this case.
Okay.
The last rec was 10. I said, Ivan, can you give me a better rec? He says, well, I'm investigating some things. And he says, I'm not trying to drag my feet, but I will try to get you these items as soon as possible. Okay. At present, Judge, you can put us on the trial docket, but I think maybe one more settlement conference. Mr. Martinez has promised to give me some information that may make a difference.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, are you on and listening? I know he's on. I just don't know if he's listening.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
I am, Your Honor, but I seem to be having, I'm having visual issues, but audio I can hear just fine. That's correct. That is a correct characterization by Mr. Gonzalez, correct.
And do you agree, Mr. Gonzalez, that one more settlement conference may be fruitful? One more before we put it on?
No, I do. I do. I think I just need to gather some information and convey it to Mr. Gonzalez, and that may help matters one way or another.
You got it. 30 days it is. Mr. Martinez, anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez?
No, Judge, thank you.
Okay, sir. We'll see you in 30 days. Thank you. Be safe, sir. Mr. James? Thank you. James Warren is going to be set for a plea. Stephanie Montaz, that's Mr. Ortiz. I don't think anybody's there for Mr. Ortiz. The next one is Luis Perez. That's Jonathan Huerta. I just let Jonathan Huerta in. Mr. Jonathan Huerta. I'm sorry, Mr. Rick?
He's out of mute.
I'm right here, Judge.
There you go. Very good. At this time, court calls cause number 2020-279. Announcement of council. Please, State of Texas versus Gerardo Perez.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Your Honor, privileged to be in front of you, Jonathan Huerta, on behalf of Gerardo Perez. Judge, my client is here in my office right behind me, Judge.
I see him. Hi,
Oh,
Mr. Perez. How are you, sir? I'm recognizing your face. We're having so many of these Zoom hearings.
How you doing?
I'm good. Sir. How are you? Thank you for asking. How are you, sir?
We're working hard to get ahead.
Good, sir. Good. We've got to forge ahead. There's no other way. There's no other way in these crazy times, right, Mr. Perez?
That's right.
Okay. Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation in this case
is what?
A state jail felony, then 6 months confinement in a state jail facility. And with the plea that we will dismiss the misdemeanor POM as well, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Huerta?
Your Honor, we were hoping, and if I can talk to Mr. Nunez, if he'd consider perhaps probation, Judge, along with some kind of inpatient or I'm sorry, some kind of out of patient, maybe drug rehab, Judge, to get my client some help that he may need, in lieu of also with intensive probation, Judge, as opposed to just 6 months state jail.
What are you thinking, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, he's already been convicted of this type of offense and given probation and was revoked in 2010. There's also an underlying DWI that looks to be coming down as well, stemming from this same incident. I'm assuming it's blood, but of course that's just an assumption, Your Honor.
Is it a misdemeanor DWI?
Yes, Your Honor, it appears so, yes.
It's a first. This man obviously has a substance abuse problems. Obviously, look at the DWI, the convictions of drug-related offenses. What about this, Mr. Nunez? And I understand he's been revoked, he's gone to the pen, but what about some kind of offer where he does a certain amount of time ACOP and then he does an outpatient? Would you consider that instead of 6 months state jail?
I am thinking of something like that, Your Honor.
You want some time? You want some time to kind of?
I think, to be fair, without the reduction to the state jail, I think I could possibly work out a deal like that. But I would like some time to package it up and bundle it.
Got it. Okay. And I don't know if you're even willing to take it, Mr. Huerta. I mean, I just said that as a compromise, and
No,
I think
that sounds good, Judge. That sounds good.
it won't be, the state jail won't be reduced, though, is what Mr. Nunez is saying.
Oh, the state jail still won't be reduced?
It won't be reduced, he said. No, he would keep the felony and work on, and then he would give probation with those terms. ACOP time. So you guys hash it out. It's I see it's kind of close, okay? I see it's kind of close. Let's set this up for another 2 week, 3 week, maybe even 4 weeks, depending on how my docket is, for another conference, you guys, because I think we're close,
Okay, Judge.
right? I think one more will be fruitful. One more settlement conference in at least 3 weeks, Miss Becky, please. Okay, Mr. Huerta, anything else in this case?
I am done, Judge. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir. Mr. Nunez, you're good? Nothing else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Perez, be safe. Mr. Huerta, please be safe. Thank you all for participating. You may be excused. Hector Durwood, that's Miss Lerma, court cause number 2020-1072. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Veronica Teresa Lerma, Your Honor, for Mr. Durwood. We are ready.
Good afternoon, Miss Lerma. How are you?
Doing well, Judge. I got a COVID test today and I came out negative. Thank goodness.
Oh my God. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
So
were you with somebody that had it possibly? Is that why you did it?
No, I went to my uncle's funeral and I don't know if anybody has had to go to funerals, but those places are just ripe for COVID being transferred.
Tell me, I've heard horror stories about the COVID test. That Q-tip up your nose was pretty bad.
Finger prick. Just a quick little blood test. I got the results back in 10 minutes. I highly recommend it for anybody else.
What happened? How come you didn't get the Q-tip up the nose?
Because it hurts too much, Judge. I'm not going to do that.
So did you insist from your doctor? You have good medical insurance or what?
I'm just a good lawyer and I insisted.
Negotiated that. That's too hilarious. Has anybody ever heard of a COVID test with the blood? No. Horror stories. Yeah. I'm glad I talked to you. Hopefully I won't need to get tested, right? Hopefully.
It's very nerve-wracking. So everybody stay safe.
Amen. Amen. And thank God it was negative. Amen to that. Thank you, Jesus. God blessed you. God blessed you. Okay, you're waiving Mr. Durwood's, did I ask you this? You're waiving his appearance for purposes of today's hearing?
He's in jail, Judge, so I waive his appearance, and I did speak with him today about that too.
Okay, good, thank you. Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the offer?
2 TDC, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Lerma, what are you thinking?
Judge, I spoke with him about that today, and he's declined it. I am going to counter or speak to Mr. Nunez about some history with Mr. Durwood, that he thinks that his previous attorney had a different offer in place. I don't see anything about those notes.
Hang on a second. Mr. Castañeda, can you look, do you have the file in front of you?
I do, Judge.
Okay, what was the last entry and did I write down any offer of possible settlement?
I do not see anything written in the jacket, nor is there a settlement conference log, Judge.
Wow, what happened? How come there's not a settlement conference log?
I think I may have gotten this file after the March 13th.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case, Judge.
Okay, I thought I could maybe help you out if I wrote something down, Ms. Lerma, but I guess it was post-COVID pandemic quarantine time. Okay, what is the offer that your client thinks it is?
Well, he believes that this case was going to either be dismissed or be given a time served rec based on another felony that he had pled on. And he truly believes that this was what the rec was. So I don't see anything in the notes, but that's what he understands it to be.
When did he plead to that other felony, if he did?
I think it was sometime in October. Let me see, Judge.
Do we show a plea on this case, on this gentleman, Mr. Castañeda, in October?
Let me check the misdemeanor case, Judge.
Was it a misdemeanor case, Ms. Lerma, that he pled to?
No, Judge, I can't find.
It's a felony.
Let me look him up by name, Judge.
Right. Mr. Rick, I'm letting an iPhone in.
Your Honor.
That might be Mr. Ortiz. He comes on his iPhone. Yeah, that's Mr. Ortiz.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Mr.
so sorry. I'm about to start a hearing right now, Judge. I apologize.
That's okay, sir. I'm in the middle of one right now, so I'll take you up in a bit. Is that okay? Or you have to go?
Well, we're gonna start a motion to press in about, I don't know. We're talking right now over here. I have two computers going on at the same time.
I know. Okay, sir. We'll get back with you. I'm in the middle of another hearing.
Okay, so then after I finish this, Judge, with your permission, can I get back on?
Yes, sir. If I'm around, if not, it's gonna be reset because I'm almost finished with my docket. I only have about 3 more cases or 4.
Okay, Judge. As soon as let me see what they're doing right now, okay? I'll get back on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. I apologize.
No worries. You have to jump from place to place. We all have to understand that. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Apologize.
Okay, Mr.
I don't have any other history for him, Judge. So I must be missing something, but that's what he told me.
Yeah.
I do see a dismissed case out of the 210th back in September of 2019 for unauthorized use of vehicle. And then there's nothing else after that until this case.
Does that help you out at all, Ms. Lerma? I don't know.
I didn't know that maybe he's confusing which case was dismissed and which case wasn't.
Fine.
So
September 19.
Yeah. So I'll speak to him again about the 2 TDC, but if not, I think at this point I'll just put him on the trial track.
Okay, why don't we do this? Let's put him on the trial track, okay? Because I think this is too much of a big misunderstanding. I don't think it's gonna be resolved. If you think it can be resolved, call Ms. Becky and ask for one more status or settlement conference, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, we're putting it on the trial track. Thank you. You may be excused. Thank you. Stay safe and amen. Amen to the negative tests.
Thank you. Bye, Judge.
Yes, bye-bye. Roberto Martinez, it's Mr. Norris, 2020-46, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Robin Norris for Mr. Martinez. I'm ready, Your Honor.
Okay, are we waiving Mr. Martinez or is he participating here today?
Mr. Martinez is present with me here in my office.
Oh, that makes it easy. Great, thank
Take a
you.
look at him. He can say hi to the court.
Hi, Mr. Martinez, how are you?
All right, ma'am. Have a seat, right away.
Have a seat, sir. Okay, Mr. Nunez, let's talk about a deal. What are you offering?
Your Honor, the recommendation on the table is 5 TDC.
Your Honor, this case, we had a settlement conference a week or so ago. This was a case in which Ivan Martinez participated on behalf of the district attorney's office. This was a case in which there was a struggle between Mr. Martinez, the defendant here, and his nephew, the complainant.
Oh, I remember this
Yes.
case. And the nephew jumped on his back.
That's exactly right. So the court has a good memory of the facts here.
Yes. You just had to jar it.
Yeah, among the many other things in this case, the nephew was the first physical aggressor here. This was a family dispute going on in which my client wanted to confront his brother-in-law about an issue he had with him staying at his mom's house. And the nephew jumped on him to try to prevent him from going into the room where his brother-in-law was, and they both fell down and had a struggle. The police came in and suggested, after examining the nephew, that he may have bitten him on the thigh, but the court, I think, looked at that picture, and so did I. The nephew tells me that was not a bite.
Right.
In any case, nobody wants to prosecute Mr. Martinez. I've talked to everybody in the family. I invited them again to speak with Ivan about this. The court may recall that Ivan did agree to speak with them. I'm not sure that actually has been accomplished. Ivan did send me an email saying, you know, tell them to call me, and I did remind them to do that. But I've been informed since then by the boy's father and them that they said that they had already talked to the DA's office before and told them that they didn't want to prosecute and they weren't coming. I have since explained the meaning of a subpoena to them, you know, but they definitely don't want to prosecute. They're going to have to be dragged kicking and screaming into the courtroom. And when they come into the courtroom, they're going to say that the complainant was the first aggressor. So
I'm a little confused. Did they call up Ivan and try to speak to him?
I don't think so. I keep making an inquiry about that, but I'm pretty sure they may not have done so. I urged them to do so, but again, I think it was the attitude of the boy's father. Look, we've talked to these people already before, at least once or twice, maybe to victims' assistants. They say to an assistant district attorney at one point, and they say, we've already told them we don't want to prosecute. Like many people, they're under the impression that if they tell the prosecuting attorney that they don't want to prosecute, that will be the end of it. I've explained that that isn't necessarily the end of it and that they can be subpoenaed, but that's basically the attitude we have here. I would continue to encourage them to speak with Mr. Nunez or with Mr. Martinez, but
it's going to be in the best interest of the defendant and the defendant's family if they get rid of that attitude and call Mr. Martinez.
Absolutely.
That's what's happened. I mean, if I'm looking towards a dismissal for my family member, or if I'm the defendant, I would make sure that my family was a bit more cooperative and not as uppity.
Yeah, I think it's not a question of a bad attitude. I think it's a question of a naive misunderstanding, like many people have.
It's a bad attitude. I've already done it. I'm not going to do it again. Is what I'm smelling.
I will continue to encourage them to do that if necessary, or if it would make a difference. I didn't have much of a feeling from the last settlement conference that it was going to make much of a difference to Mr. Martinez anyway.
I thought we left Mr. Martinez with Mr. Martinez agreeing he will speak to them.
He did, and he since did, as I said, contacted me by email to say they haven't contacted him yet, and would I encourage them to do so.
Okay, so they need to get off their uppity horse and their attitude and call Mr. Norris.
Yes,
right?
of course. Of course.
Mr. Norris is right, Your Honor. They haven't contacted me. The father of the victim did call our office and say that he didn't want to press charges on behalf of the boy. And I understood that. But the fact of the matter is, I do believe this offense has taken place. I do not want to put that child in a position where he's having to lie on behalf of his uncle. And I think that's what would occur. He would be browbeat until he came in and lied about what happened that day, and that's not fair to him.
I think that's clearly not the case. Even from the police reports, it's clear that the nephew was the first physical aggressor.
Judge, Judge, I told you, last time we spoke, I described to you the size and weight of the defendant, the size and weight of the victim in this case. The allegation is the defendant threw the victim to the ground, and then the defendant proceeded to punch the defendant twice in the chest. And the victim tried to get away, and the defendant chased him down and proceeded to bite his leg. So I think that whatever reasonable force Mr. Norris believes the defendant used initially, once that small child tried to get away, he did not have the right to chase him down. Nonetheless, Nonetheless, even though this man can be habitualized, we are still willing to offer 5 TDC today. And that is that this will be the last day. From this point on, we are going to give the notice of habitualization. And because I don't want for this child to have to lie to me. And I think that's the hesitation here, that of course the father can say, I don't want to press charges. I believe that. He probably doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, getting the child to lie about what happened that day is a completely separate matter.
You know, the child is not lying. I have spoken to the child, even if Mr. Martinez has not. And I'm convinced that the child is not lying about this, that the child was not injured, that the description of the offense is incomplete in the police reports, as they always are, and that you've actually got to talk to these witnesses at some length to figure out exactly what happened. You can't just depend upon a police report. This child is not, in my opinion, lying. I'm a little ticked off about the suggestion that he is, because there isn't any evidence that he would lie, and I certainly wouldn't encourage anybody to lie. I merely interviewed the family and interviewed the child myself. He's not an infant, Your Honor. He's an athlete. He's a skinny little boy, but my client is an old fat man. And it's, you know, basically, it's a toss-up.
Right
Who
behind
had the
you.
best of this?
May I remind
know.
you behind you and listening to everything you said, especially the part about the big fat man?
Well,
and to be clear, Your Honor, I'm not saying Mr. Norris is lying. Of course, I'm not saying that. He is honestly conveying what's been conveyed to him. I get that. But what I'm saying is, what the witnesses and the victim told the police that night is the truth.
Yeah, I think what the witness told the police was true. I just don't believe the police report accurately reflects that or completely reflects it, as is usually the case. You got to talk to these people personally. You can't just rely on those reports.
My first question, I really thought, Mr. Martinez, and that's why I chastised Mr. Norris and his uppity family. I thought that you would have an open heart and operate in good faith, and you really wanted to know what happened that day from the horses' mouths, all the horses. It doesn't sound that way. It sounds like you're closed already, that this kid is already going to lie and you want to put him in that position. He hasn't even said one word to you. Let me finish. He hasn't even said one word to you. So I thought you were going to have an open heart and in good faith, sit down and talk to these people and what really happened and reassess the situation. You're already passing on the credibility of this kid as a liar. And you haven't even spoken to him. I don't understand. Explain that to me.
Judge, I believe from reading the report that this incident occurred. If you listen to the 911 call, the defendant was trying to attack the brother. There was violence, there was fear, there was, just a very volatile situation that this occurred.
You want me to paint you the picture of what happened? For some reason, this brother, who the defendant, right, goes to his mother's house and doesn't like the fact that this person is his brother, is there at the house. He's probably knocking on the door, trying to get in. He's knocking on the door, trying to get in. Then this nephew jumps on his back. I can see it happening. What do you mean dangerous, volatile? That's what's happening. Now, this defendant never should have. This was not his home. He needed to have respected that home. And I told you that already, Mr. Norris. But that's what happened. And so you have a kid getting involved in adult situations and he's on the guy's back. And I can see the guy going like this and maybe going like that. And then the kid fell off. Now, whether he literally...
I agree with you, Judge. That's probably exactly what happened. But the fact of the matter is, he then proceeded to punch the child twice in the chest. The child tried to get away and the defendant chased him down, Your Honor.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know
Well,
if I don't think I believe that, Mr. Ivan. But talk to these people. And I thought you would have talked to them with an open heart.
Judge, they haven't called me, Your Honor.
I know, but the way you're talking, there's no need to, because you already believe the police report.
I don't. I think it's a very difficult thing for this child to be in this position where the father obviously doesn't want to press charges against his brother. And so this child is feeling pressure that a child shouldn't have to be put through. And that's obviously the person that I need to speak with is the child. And I just feel that's a lot of I don't know, Judge. I mean, I'm not trying to cause problems. I think I'm being very reasonable here, Your Honor. I really do.
Will you speak to the child with an open heart? With an open mind, an open heart, and ask questions and see what happens?
Judge, I don't know. I've been trying for the last couple of weeks. I've been listening. They haven't called me. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, if I tell Mr. Norris, please have the child, yeah, you know, I don't know. See, this is the other issue. Here's the other issue. This is the bad part about Zoom and the fact that you can't meet with them in person. A lot of times your credibility depends on actually looking at their demeanor and their eyeballs and staring into them and their body language. Are they fidgeting? Are they not? Are they doing? Are they not? I don't know if you're going to be able to assess the credibility of a child like this under these circumstances on the phone.
I think they would be willing to meet in person, Your Honor.
I don't know what Mr. Martinez is, though.
Yeah, I don't know what Ivan's position might be on that or the ability.
Mr. Ivan, you're not willing to meet with him in person right now?
Well, Judge, I'm not saying no. I mean, I'd have to figure out, just a time and place and work out the logistics of it. I mean, I'm reasonable. I would want to talk with the child.
Okay, good. And I hope you will keep an open heart and an open mind. And I want you to look at the credibility of this witness, right? If he's being coached or he's covering up for his parents or his father or something, I hope you can decipher that and see that. Or not. Maybe he's not, right? Okay. So I'm not going to force any in-person stuff either. I want to move my docket, but not at the risk of forcing everybody to do that. Why don't we wait about 2 months, 45 to 60 days, we will have another status. Hopefully by then, Mr. Martinez, I'm hoping people can start in-person kind of situations with safeguards in place. Right now, I don't think I would ask you to do that.
No, and I would, Judge. I mean,
well, I don't want you.
No, believe me, we do it in a way that none of our health would be jeopardized, of course.
Hey, sir.
But I would.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't. I mean, if the family calls me and they're willing to bring in the boy to the office, I could work that out to speak with him, of course.
Okay, I'm not forcing any of this, though. I want you to know that, Ivan. If you want to stay safe, and if this family. Norris, talk to this family. If they want to
I will, Your Honor.
Not participate in this, then we wait 60 days. I can wait.
Yes, right.
But but Mr. Martinez sounds like he's willing, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's see if your side is willing, and you need to get your people off their uppity high horse, Mr. Norris.
I will do it.
Mr. Ivan, I want you to have an open heart, and you're experienced lawyer. I want you to decipher and check out his demeanor, right, for credibility and truth, and we'll just take it from there.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I just mention one more thing, Your Honor? I think the 60 days is good. I just wanted to remind the court, every time this year, I wind up having to scramble around. I have a vacation certificate for the month of August. And
I understand you have to go to Taos.
Well, I have to go to Wyoming, and the only reason I mentioned it is because I'm totally out of touch because I'm in the backcountry of the mountains. So I'm going to have calls forwarded and emails forwarded and have my assistant take care of everything. But just to mention, if we're going to reset this, that it should be after the month of August and
September, early September. So that's really truly 60 days. All of
yes,
July,
Your Honor.
of August. Okay, there you have it. 60 days it is reset. Mr. Norris has to go to Wyoming. And
of course, Judge, it has to be pointed out in this case as well, is that there is an independent witness who can corroborate the sequence of events. as
Good.
related in the police report as well, in addition to the child himself.
Who's the independent witness?
There's the mother or the grandmother of the child who was there. Now, her statement to the police said they thought she was uncooperative. Her statement to the police was she didn't see any assault by the defendant against her grandson. There was the brother-in-law who the defendant was there to confront, who came out of the bedroom while the defendant and his nephew were rolling around, tussling on the floor, and he helped to separate them. He's the one guy I haven't actually talked to. I'm not sure whether he's available, but I have tried to get in touch with him. He is no longer a brother-in-law of the defendant. The defendant's sister and he have separated, but he's still around. I mean, we can find him. He didn't see the assault, but he helped to separate them while they were struggling with one another on the floor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Martinez, are you telling me that you want to speak to this person as well?
No, Mr. Nunez has already spoken with him. He is around. He is willing to testify.
This is
but I'm just saying that.
Hang on. This is a disinterested witness?
Well, no, it's the man that Mr. Norris just described.
Yes, the ex-brother-in-law.
He's who?
Ex-brother-in-law, the one that the defendant was there at the house to confront. He had issues about him living there with his mother.
Okay, you know he's not disinterested. You know he probably doesn't have any credibility.
No, but my
judge,
my,
I don't know about that,
position,
Judge. I mean, we need to keep an open mind.
Well,
yes, my position is that he too. My position is he too will support the defendant in this. He didn't actually see what happened before he came out of the room, but he can describe what he saw when he separated them. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
speak to him too. See, I just want you. How many people who do you want to speak to, Mr. Nunez? You want to speak to this?
No. The main person that I need to speak with is the victim himself, of course. But what I'm saying is that it's possible that we could proceed on with this case based on excited utterances and the observations of this individual. But the fact of the matter is, I will talk with the victim. I do want to hear what he has to say, and I will report back what I believe is going on.
Okay. What else, Mr. Norris?
That's all for now, Your Honor, from us.
Okay. It'll be 60 days. Let's push this little meeting that'll happen. I would prefer it closer to the end of the 60th day so that everybody can be safe. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a great time in Wyoming unplugged, Mr. Norris.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Ms. Harper, let's take care of your cases. 2019 4497, 2017 0037, and 2017 0081. The state of Texas versus Mark Anthony Martinez. Announcement of council, please.
Elizabeth Howard for the state of Texas. We're ready.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Corey Harbor Valdez on behalf of Mark Martinez. He is incarcerated, so we waive his appearance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Howard, do we have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Harbor?
Yes, Your Honor. It is 20 years TDC on the ag assault counts, 10 years TDC on the evading with a vehicle counts, and 7 years on the revo.
10 years on the evading and 7 on the revo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as I do recall this young man. I do. He's got a pretty extensive history, so this wreck doesn't surprise me. Miss Harbor, does it surprise you, or had they given it to you before?
No, it's been relayed before, Your Honor. You may recall at our last hearing, we discussed the fact that his brain tumor had returned.
Right.
He went in for surgery, I believe it was Memorial Day weekend. And when the doctors got in, the tumor was much larger than they had anticipated. And so they did not complete the surgery at that time. The doctors were concerned about the size of the tumor, but also the fact that he would need to be in ICU, and that bed space was needed for COVID patients at the time. They were also concerned about him contracting COVID while being in the ICU unit. So Mr. Martinez has told me that it's been pushed back to August. I don't have an exact date on the surgery, and we do not have the records yet. We are still awaiting those records. I'm working with the jail and the hospital, trying to get him, whoever can get him to me quicker. But that's where we're at. So I would request if we could please put this off at least until September to see what happens with his surgery.
I think we have no choice. Ms. Howard?
And I completely agree. I spoke with Miss Harbor Valdez earlier today because asking if she had a prognosis and diagnosis and prognosis for Mr. Martinez, because depending on what that is and what's going on with him, that could change, what my office decides to do. And so I would like to be able to take that stuff into consideration.
I understand that completely. I forgot he had a brain tumor. You just reminded me, Miss Harbor, I forgot about that. I remember his face. I remember all the tattoos. I remember all of that, but I didn't remember about the brain tumor. How awful we remember the negative and we don't remember the compassionate, sympathetic. Okay. Let's see. Let's pray for this young man. Let's set it up in 60 days. We'll do 1st of September, sometime thereafter, 1st of September. I'm sure, Ms. Harbor, you gave us so much information right now. I really appreciate that. I'm sure you'll give us much more at that time. And hopefully he'll have the surgery he so desperately needs in spite of this COVID. Because it's not going to get better. I think it's going to get worse. Thank you for participating, Ms. Harbor. Anything else? We'll set it up. You'll get notice September, beginning of September. Ms. Howard?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you all. Be safe. Thank you all for participating.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, the next one is Leonard Morales, Jose Luis Herrera, 2019, 2694 and 5694. Announcement of council, please.
Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Robert Pettis standing in for Mr. Morales.
Good. Well, I'm glad we finally figured out what you were here for, because I didn't see you on my docket, Mr. Pettis.
I was just snooping.
Good. Okay, you can snoop anytime you want to, sir. You can snoop on my Zoom anytime. Okay, Mr. Nunez. Let's get on.
The recommendation is 3 TDC and then time served on all the misdemeanor cases, Your Honor.
Time served on misdemeanor. Okay. Mr. Perez, you can't, really assess the offer because you're here in Mr. Morales's place instead.
Right, and he conveyed to me that there are immigration issues, so it appears that he may need a trial.
Yeah. Okay, I will respect what he's asking. I'm gonna put it on the trial list, okay? And this will be resolved God knows when. Wait, let me ask another thing. Did I ask you if you waived Mr. Herrera's appearance?
And I would waive his appearance. He's in jail, Your Honor.
I forgot. I forgot to ask that. Okay, so then let's just set this up. I'm gonna tell Becky to put it on the trial list. And then Mr. Morales is diligent as you are. If he wants another hearing or something else, we'll do it. But otherwise, we're not gonna touch it until we can get into trial one day, we hope, in our lifetime. Right? Okay.
I hear you.
That's it. So tell Mr. Morales we're gonna put him on the list and not budget anymore unless he wants it budged.
I will so inform him. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ortiz, you're back. Let's take care of Stephanie Montaz, 2019, 5731. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Mr.
There I
Ortiz.
am.
There you are.
Ready. I'm so sorry, Judge. We couldn't even start our hearing because it wasn't we're having problems with the app, with the Zoom.
Really? Well, let me tell you, this is the first time I've seen you in your office. You're generally in your car, going, sir. So I'm glad.
Judge, I'm just all over the map.
I know, sir. Even Zooming, you're all over the place. We can't keep track of you. Good, Mr. Ortiz. I'm glad you're there safe. Okay.
Thank you.
You waive your client's appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and what is the offer, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, the current offer is 2 years deferred probation.
Judge, I'm sorry, this is Rick. I believe Ms. Montañez is on the iPhone.
She's on the iPhone?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Oh, Miss Montañez, can I see you in person? I don't. There you are.
Yes, I'm here.
There she is.
I just didn't want to really interrupt you guys.
No, if you're here, I want you to be here. No, no,
Yes,
no.
ma'am, I'm here.
Good. Do you see and recognize Mr. Ortiz as your attorney, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the screen. And Mr. Ortiz, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yeah, I do, Your Honor.
There you go. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Thank you, Rick. Okay, so what's the offer? 2
Your Honor,
years.
apologies.
I interrupted. Go ahead.
It's 5 years deferred probation, 150 hours of community service, a $500 fine, parenting classes, UABA, as well as a curfew, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. What are you thinking, Mr. Ortiz?
You know what I'm thinking, Judge, is I want to talk to Mr. Nunez a little bit about the case because I don't know if you recall this case, Judge, but this is a case where my client actually had a babysitter taking care of the kids.
The cousin and the cousin.
Yeah, yeah. And then she left, and then but the cousin's blaming it on her.
Right.
And anyways, what can I tell you, you know?
I remember. So you want a little bit more time to massage the facts and work on Mr. Nunez.
That's correct.
Okay, sir. Let's set this up another settlement conference in what, 30 days, 45 days? You tell me.
It's up to you, Judge. I don't plan on going anywhere.
Okay, none of us really should. Let's do 30 days. Okay, and hopefully we
Thank
can.
you.
After this
Thank you.
last one, if we can't settle it, we'll put it on the trial track and let's.
Okay, Judge. Fair enough. Thank you so much, and I'm glad you're safe.
Be safe. You too, sir. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Have an excuse.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge, for your patience.
Okay, I think everybody helped me, but I think we're done, right? We're done with this docket, right?
I believe so, Judge.
We're good. Absolutely. I think we're done. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Oh, let me get off. Miss Rita, I hope we gave you some good. Everybody was behaving.
I know, Judge, right? But I'm gonna do this again tomorrow.